So, a very good evening and welcome to another Straight Talk. My name's Martin from So Is Fun, alcohol-free events and comedy clubs. So, Straight Talk, it's a Wednesday night and we have another inspirational guest to bring into our conversation from the off. Somebody that I've worked with in a professional capacity for a long time, and without him actually knowing, was an inspiration behind me actually getting sober. He didn't know that. So I'm going to say good evening to Mr. Gunn. How are you doing?
Hello, Martin. No, I didn't know that.
I know you didn't. And I was sitting here thinking, and I can remember being behind the desk at work for the certain comedy club. And obviously, we booked you a lot. And I was sitting there busted. I was hanging out my arse, I'll be honest with you. Having been on a bender, trying to hold it together, thinking that the rest of the office didn't notice. But I think towards the end with me, when I was turning up at show on crutches, and there was a few little giveaways. But no, Mike, no, thank you for giving your time and coming on to join us tonight.
Okay, well, how did you even know that? How was I an inspiration? Because I don't think I ever mention it on stage if I'm just doing a normal comedy gig.
No, you don't. You don't. I done a bit of delving, Mike.
Oh yeah. Stalking.
This is where I was going to start, actually.
Yeah.
Your second show at Edinburgh, 2003.
Oh my God, you've got a memory, yeah.
Uncut.
Yeah.
When I actually found bits of it, and I just was sitting there busted, thinking, man, if he can do it, he was on heroin. I'm only on cocaine. It's a lot worse. And as we know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It doesn't matter if you're on bloody blooming just smoking weed. It's all the same addiction. We know that. But no, I actually looked at that and you did inspire me, mate. You really did. But it took me a lot of years to bust myself up enough.
Took me a lot of years as well. Alcohol's much harder to realize you've got a problem, I think, because it's so much more socially acceptable. So, you know, you can kid yourself that you just like a drink and you're one of the lads and blah, 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 blah. With, with Coke and heroin and all that, it's a little bit, especially if you're sticking needles in yourself, it's a bit more difficult to think that you might be all right.
Especially if you're sitting in the pub.
That's why I noticed that when I go to various self-help groups like AA, NA, those sort of things, I noticed that the AA people are much older because it takes them longer to get to the point where they're really fucked up, basically, or where they admit they're really fucked up. Yeah.
No, that is interesting. I think drugs just does, well, from my experience, speed it up a hell of a lot.
It does. Yeah. It's a good thing. Good thing, drugs. You should go straight to the heroin because you end up getting cleaned up much quicker.
Yeah, don't worry about the booze. Just, I know we're sitting here laughing and joking, and there's people are going to be watching this back, and but the beautiful thing is we're in a position now, Mike, both of us, both in recovery, that we can sit here and look at a past. And I don't know about you, but for me, there was a time when I really couldn't see a life with or without drugs and drink. And how was I going to laugh again? That must have been big for you, wasn't it?
Massive, yeah. It took me I didn't think that one of the reasons I never really gave up was because I didn't think life was worth living without using drugs. So there didn't seem to be much point in giving up. But I had an immense laugh. Well, I had more laughs when I was in rehab than I ever had in 10 years of using, I've got to say.
I will echo that. I will absolutely echo that. I obviously thought I was going to a health spa. I did pack my gym stuff like you do.
Me too, mate.
And funny enough, there weren't a pool. Funny enough, there weren't a gym. No. And I've actually been back to it today. It's funny it's come up. I do give them time when I can, which I get so much from. Obviously, the place that sobered me up and told me I was extremely ill. Let's put it that way. That gave me the tools to progress my recovery. And you know, throughout lockdown, we haven't been allowed in to actually go and help. But yeah, yesterday was my first day back, and it brought back a lot. I'll be honest with you. I'm normally all right arriving back at where my journey started, but I remember like just going into the treatment room and walking around, just thinking the laughs. I've never laughed like it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Just taking the piss out of ourselves, basically, wouldn't we? You know?
Yeah. Well, talking of that show, and I've been sticking up videos, as you know.
Indeed.
Sort of from that show. Kind of, it's similar sort of stuff that I did in that show, and I've been chucking them out. So advertise them for me at some point.
Do you know what, Mike? It's funny you should say that.
Well, I think, let me just say, lots of people have been watching them, and there's some couple of drug treatment centres that are using them in their treatment to show people. And I did a Zoom meeting with a load of addicts in a residential treatment centre yesterday morning, and
fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. So
because I'm loving them, Mike. I'm loving them. I've actually watched every single one from the beginning.
Right, okay.
And while we're on the subject, I will explain to people listening.
Can I post a link or something? I don't know how this works. I've got no idea what
I'll tell you what. I've got all your details up there. Yeah. People will be able to find you. There's all your
link. I've got a link in the chat. Can people get in the chat?
People can get in the chat. People can drop some message in the chat. Yeah, your videos that you've been doing, Mike, they're like, we were just talking about not knowing if we could laugh when we get sober, and then your edge on your whole experience for addiction. I was wetting myself, and girlfriend, we were absolutely wetting ourselves at these videos. So what I'm saying to everybody watching,
not for everyone, but for people in the know.
No, but I will say to people that are watching, you do need to get on. Go on to ko-fi.com/Mike Gunn. It's up there on the screen. And what number are you up to now? Is it 18, 19?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. My phone's broken, so I can't make one at the moment.
But what I will tell the viewers, it is very insightful. But I just love the way you've done it, putting the comedic edge on it, because it is a very serious topic we're talking about here, recovery. But to be able to do that, I've loved them, Mike. Is that kept you busy?
I'm having a few problems with them at the moment because, one, my phone's broken, and two, Facebook have started to say that they are promoting drug use, so they don't want them.
Why?
they obviously haven't looked at them.
That is amazing. That is amazing. But I suppose that was taken from Uncut, was it? You've decided to take it apart.
Sort of. I kind of, that whole show was just really me talking about my experiences. So I still have those experiences. So I just recorded them straight to my phone, basically. And it's kind of, it's stuff from that show, but just done from my perspective now, I suppose. You know.
What inspired you to do that show about your journey in recovery?
You know, you're looking for a subject to do Edinburgh, and you've got a huge fucking history of drug abuse. Why wouldn't you choose that?
Great answer. Great answer.
It's either that or doing your Dead Dad show, isn't it? You know. but joking I've done other shows.
Aside, you know, people being able to see it, it's helping people at the same time. You know that. It's, you know, people.
That's why I'm putting up these videos, because I think they're going to be helpful. As you can see, my addiction's not totally cured because I'm vaping like it's gone out of fashion.
I thought it'd be unprofessional to smoke whilst we chat, so I had about 4 before we come on. But
don't worry about unprofessional. Jesus,
this is totally professional. But that show, going back to that, great reviews, and like you say, why wouldn't you talk about, you know, your past? And some people in recovery don't like talking about their past, what they got up to. But personally, me being so open about it, do you find that that helps in your own recovery?
I wasn't so open about it at first, but I mean, I'm 30. It's 30 years. I'm 30 years clean. Do you know what I mean?
30 years, everybody. 30 years. Come on.
When people say that, I always think, yeah, it was me that started in the first place. I don't need congratulations for stopping something that most people don't do.
But no, come on, it is a massive achievement. You've got to, yeah.
But I forgot what I was going to say now. That show wasn't massively successful in Edinburgh, but it was very successful on a sort of the self-help type circuit. I toured it around schools and prisons and to the police, the Home Office. You know, it was very successful in that area, and I did it for years and years and years. I even did something called the Too Smart for Drugs Roadshow, which was like the Radio 1 Roadshow, but for kids with problems, you know. So I did it for a long, long time, and then they started to want to talk about knife crime instead. So you know, it all fell apart in the end. But I did it for years. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it must have helped a lot of people. And this is the whole point of doing these straight talks, you know, because I'm going to come on to the comedy scene now. It's as you know, I had this great idea. I got sober and I thought, who's ever done a comedy night with no booze? And I do know that some people on the circuit were, you know, snuffing their nose up on it, couldn't really get a grasp of how it was going to work.
Well, I was one of them. I thought, I don't want to do that. It sounds bloody awful. A miserable bunch of people staring at me sober.
But all right. Let's be honest now, because the last time I saw you, that was at the County Hotel in Chelmsford last September. That was some night. You've got to admit that was a good night.
It was great. Yeah, I didn't realise they were going to be my people. I didn't realise, and also I was able to drag some stuff out of that show. I had to quickly go in the toilets and sit in the toilet in darkness and kind of rack my brains for stuff, because when I realized that a lot of the people were either, you know, were in recovery or had problems, I suddenly thought, oh, I can do some different stuff here, because I didn't realize that until I got there. I just thought it was a miserable sober show. I thought Martin ain't got a clue what he's doing. No one wants to see this shit.
Miserable sober show. I'm going to use it as a slogan. I'm going to take the fun out. So.
Yeah. But then I had to quickly rack my brains and remember some stuff from that show. But yeah, it was a great night. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's why I do these videos, to be honest, because I thought, oh well, that went down really well with those type of people. And then, you know, all this happened, so I'm totally out of work. I'm not furloughed. I'm doing nothing. So I've just started doing them more for my own amusement than anything else. But they've been, and I knew they'd be helpful to some people. And I've tried to stick a bit of comedy in for, you know, for other people.
I've just, going back to that set that night, that laughter in that room. You're top professional stand-up, and I've seen you God knows how many times, and you always win the room. It goes without saying, you know that. But when you're doing a full half hour on addiction, that was just so powerful in that room. And the amount of people afterwards, they were raving about it. And I can remember coming backstage coming around the corner to have a chat with you. You just told me politely to piss off, I think, because you were sitting there meditating, trying to get it. I think that was probably...
I was trying to remember stuff that I could do. But the thing is, you can't really I couldn't do a full half hour about addiction in any other club, because people don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? They're there to get drunk and have a good time. They want to hear about being sober. Do you know, and why would they? So I don't do that stuff, and I haven't done it for a long, long time.
I was going to say, when was the last time you actually done a set on that?
Oh God, that one that I did for you was the first time I'd done it for, oh God knows, 8-9 years probably. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. That's why I told you shut up.
You did. You were quite rude, but I know you can be quite rude, Grumpy Gunn. So I just thought. But no, that was a phenomenal night, and we had you booked in as well to come up to the London alcohol-free one. And that's a shame, because we were just getting going, and it's not all about me, but or us, or Sober is Fun. But yeah, the whole industry, you know, it's absolutely, excuse my French, it is fucked. You know, the thing is, they are allowing shows to go ahead back indoors, but how viable can it? It's just, I'm having to look at it so careful because I really want to get back up and running. But you need a good room. It needs to have that social distancing. And you've got the risk of, are people going to come? I'd love to know, people listening, you're welcome to drop a message. If we put on an event, would you come indoors again? Because I think that's a big one, Mike, isn't it?
Well, I would. I'm behaving like it doesn't exist. I'm more than I've come to the point where I'm just willing to take my chances now and get on with my life. So I would go to a comedy club or a theatre. I wouldn't care. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. That's my point of view at the moment. But I had 2 shows for the Comedy Store this weekend in the Potter's Arms in Amersham.
I saw that.
Yeah, well, they've been pulled. So, yeah. In fact, every single show, I've done 1 show in the last 5 months. Outdoor gig. I can't even remember where.
That was local to here. That wasn't too far. That was Chelmsford way, wasn't it? Yeah. I saw it.
Great. I was having to tell people to shut up so I could remember what material I was doing before I went on.
As polite as it was to me that night. But yeah, the industry as a whole, and it is because without laughter, you know, God, it's got so many healing properties. For people to go out and have a night out with friends and laugh, you know, the feel-good factor of it, and especially being in recovery and being able to go to one of our events. But it's, you know, the amount of comedians, like you say yourself, you're totally out of work and you've had to think quick. And you did get those videos up quite quick, didn't you? You did actually.
I did, yeah. You know, it's hardly going to make me a living, but I'm doing it more because I like doing it, and the people that like it really like it. You know, I've had people, I've had lots of messages from people saying that, you know, they've really helped them out, and you know, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Whether they do or not, who knows? But I've had loads and loads. I've also had people from my past that I used drugs with getting in touch, going, "I never knew you did that." That was you that nicked my drugs.
On his program.
Exactly.
That is funny. That is funny. And I'll say again to everyone watching this back or listening now, you've got to go and check Mike's videos out on Ko-fi.com. Just check Mike out on his social media platforms. All the videos are there. And if it does make you laugh, buy him a coffee. Bless him.
Yeah.
Buy him a coffee. And yeah, we say this entertainment sector is fucked. We know that a lot of businesses are, but with us trying to get that, you know, comedy is all about creating that intimate atmosphere and spacing people out. Don't know.
But I had some of these car park gigs booked in, you know, big screen drive-in ones, but they've all collapsed as well because, you know, comedy doesn't really work like that, does it? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to go and sit in my car and pay. They weren't cheap either, were they? About 35, 40 quid a car. Or
I mean, drive-in stuff in America, probably, you know, and in the 60s, they had drive-in cinemas, and people would go there in their convertibles with their girlfriends and, you know, make out in the car in the lovely sunny weather, you know, and watch a movie. Look at it here. Who wants to sit
down?
Pissing down in the rain in your car, the heater on. Do you know what I
mean? I know people have put so much into it though, because there's car park party, car park this. There's a lot of money being invested, and you probably saw that first festival online where they were setting these pens like pigs. I think it was like the first outside rave or something. They've got the amount of money people are injecting just trying to get live events back up and running. It's fair play to them, but
but hang on a minute. Did you watch the snooker the other night? The Crucible was packed full of people not wearing masks, and I was thinking, what's going on? How come that's all right?
How can you sit in a pub, no mask on, getting pissed up? That's all right, isn't it?
Apparently, yeah. I think that's Probably because the government make a bit of money out of it, probably.
Maybe there's a little bit of tax going on there, Mike. Maybe just a little bit. I'm going to ask you now, just, there's going to be people listening that are in recovery. People are going to be listening back that aren't in recovery. So why did you get sober? What was your, let's say, awakening? How far did it get for you before you realised my life has got to change, Mike?
Well,
was there one that you can remember?
That's a very big question.
It is a big question.
There isn't one thing. It got very, very bad for me. I was in psychiatric hospital weighing 9 stone. I was bright yellow, with liver failure and all that stuff. And I was physically unable to take drugs. If I even took a swig if I had a can of Special Brew, I collapsed. My body couldn't cope with it anymore. But that wasn't enough to stop me. I still wasn't ready to stop, and I did that for a while, and then they sort of injected me with vitamins every day, and which was a pain in the arse, literally. Vitamin B6 and 12 every day in the arse, and they got me back to sort of a little bit of health, and then I went off and carried on using again, and then I went into rehab. I managed to get myself a place in a proper 12-step treatment centre, Hazelden model. And I went there also not really wanting to stop, but I went there to get away from the police, and I had probation. I had people chasing me for money, and I had warrants out for my arrest and all that. At one point, the police actually turned up in the rehab to arrest me, and the rehab sent them away and said, "No, you can't arrest him. He's basically in hospital." So, which was fantastic. But I did that rehab, and it actually worked. But I didn't go there wanting to stop. Do you know what I mean? I went there to get away from stuff. I thought, like you, it was going to be a health farm, and I took a tennis racket. God knows why I took a tennis racket. I've never played tennis in my life. I was totally mad.
Imagine you walking around.
Exactly. Can you imagine? But it did actually work. It worked for me, and it was the first time that, like you say, I had a laugh. I came out of there something like 8 weeks free from drugs, and it's the first time I'd been free from drugs for years. The first time I'd slept without drugs. The first time I'd done anything, and it was the first time I'd met people who I knew were proper addicts like me, who weren't using. So the loads of stuff came together, and I kind of also realised that I could live without taking drugs, and it wasn't going to be horribly boring. But I still carried on using. I still left there and used immediately, just because I hadn't made up my mind to stop using. But they'd smashed all the denial out of me in treatment. Once you know that you can stop and that it's okay and it's down to you, once you've got rid of all that kind of denial, once an addict, always an addict, I can't help myself, all that stuff, once all that stuff's been brushed away, it's very hard to carry on using without feeling absolutely horrific about yourself. And so I then made up my mind that I would get clean and put into effect all the stuff that they told me to do, basically. So I actually got clean. I went to NA, I went to AA. I hung out with a load of other people that were trying to get clean, and I just got clean like that. But it wasn't just the one thing. It was a whole combination of all those things coming together. Physical illness. Also, I've been using heroin every day for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like an overnight, oh, I'm going to get clean. It was a whole combination of all that stuff together that all came together at the right time. And people always say to me, oh, what made you get clean? It's just not a simple answer. It's just loads of stuff all together,
Yeah. Yeah, I can echo that really with my own doing. I had to let the consequences get that bad.
Yeah.
That people were noticing, family had to jump on me, like what the hell was going on, trouble with the law and all this. But on the outside, walking around on crutches at a comedy club. Yeah, I thought I was keeping it, you know, quite hidden, but towards the end, I, I will say, yeah, I snapped my tib and fib. I'm terrible. I got a metal ankle, and then a year later, I crushed 3 of my toes where I was on the back of a lorry. I hadn't been to bed, and I was helping a mate doing a delivery, and it's painful. But that still wasn't enough, and
No.
I couldn't walk. And that still wasn't enough. I had to have intense therapy twice to walk again. But I still carried on. I loved it in the pub with my leg up, and you know, people go, "Oh, poor me." I actually, I'll be extremely honest. There's probably a lot of people that don't know that, but yeah, it is letting those consequences happen and absolutely having enough in it, because like I say to you, like you said, you walked out of a treatment centre, 12-step treatment centre, and just carried on. And I see it a lot, but I just you have to be completely done, and those consequences have got to be there, haven't they? You know.
Talking about you working on a lorry, hungover.
I've been to bed. I was off my head.
One of my ways I tried to stop using many times, and one of the ideas I had was that good physical exercise and hard work would be the way forward. So I got a job as a lumberjack. Can you imagine? Chainsaw in the forest with trees with all and I was on cider and Valium to try and within a week no one would work anywhere near me. Do you know what I mean? God, it was so dangerous.
How many trees did you cut down?
Oh, I did cut down quite a few, but you know, it was very dangerous, I've got to say. And I'm not a trained lumberjack. I had no clue. I just lied and went, "Oh yeah, I know how to do it." Yeah. Oh, it was.
Whilst I'm wetting myself laughing, you shared something in that show that you done for us about one of your first jobs that you got when you got out the rehab centre, the photocopier repairman.
Yeah. I've put that in a video. It's up there, the latest one, I think.
Right. I did wonder whether you was going to go there, but if you haven't looked already, go and look at these videos. Mike's first job back when he comes out of rehab. Let's just say what you get told about your emotions. The good news is you get your emotions back, and the bad news is you get your emotions back. So Mike Gunn's photocopier incident, I do highly recommend a lot of viewing for that, and I'm sure we're going to have quite a lot of people look at this. And since we've been doing this, I will say it, in 2 weeks we've had over 1,000 views on the last one. You know, so it is. You know, I'm sat in my bloody kitchen at home, and the thing is, I want to try and help people, and sober's fun is all.
You've got a backdrop. I see that.
I stuck it up with gaffer tape. That's what. I've got a little light shine on it. It looks quite professional, doesn't it?
Very professional.
Bit wonky.
I've got nothing. I'm in my front room.
Yeah, but we're here doing this because, you know, as I said, sober's fun. It's all about the fun element of being sober. It's all, you know, and just giving that message that you can recover and have fun. And we're sitting here laughing. I'm going to say it again, 30 years clean and sober after that terrifying heroin addiction. And yeah, I'm quite early days still, but you can have fun sober. It's, you know, it's sending that message out to people.
Well, listen, I think that, and I said this the other day in one of those things. I said, you know, I thought it was going to be boring getting clean, but you know, waking up, nicking something, selling it, scoring, having some heroin, and then, you know, collapsing, and then doing that again every single day. Do you know what I mean? And then occasionally getting arrested to break up the monotony. That is pretty boring.
Yeah, that is a pinnacle boring. Yeah.
Fun life, is it?
It totally is. There's going to be people listening. Maybe they're suffering, Mike. Maybe they're in denial. You know, because I feel lockdown is. I know for a fact through some of the work that I've been doing that lockdown has kind of put that final nail in for a lot of people.
Yes, it has.
just because they're bored, they're at home, they're drinking, didn't realise they've had a problem. What would Mike Gunn's advice be for people that are on the edge or in recovery now struggling? What would you recommend? We're going serious now, Mike.
Oh God, I don't know. Serious.
I forgot to say that.
Bloody stop it, will you? It's not going to help. Another bottle of vodka is not going to help.
Right, there you go. From Mike Gunn.
Talk to somebody, for God's sake. Yeah, talk to somebody about it. That's what I say. Watch all my videos, then talk to somebody about it. Give me some money. Email me. I'll quite happily answer questions from people.
This is it. This is it. So so are we. If there is anybody out there struggling, or somebody is going to know someone after watching this. Somebody, they're going to think, "Oh, matey, yeah, he looked a bit busted last time I saw him." And it is being able to put your hand up and ask for help, because we can do. How long did it take you before it clicked with you? And with me, I was.
Ask for help. I was fighting the help for years.
And using for 27 years.
I didn't want to be helped.
And I could not put my hand up until I was in the back of an ambulance or in a police cell. So it is just speaking, isn't it? It is just opening your mouth. And
it sounds very trite, but all that sort of admitting that you've got a problem and talking to somebody about it is kind of the first step, isn't it? I mean, what else is there? There's no magic cure. You're not going to, I went to when I came out of rehab, I went to lots of self-help groups and met a load of other people who were as fucked as me, basically. And we all sort of clung together and having that kind of community. Like the comedy community. It's like being backstage in a comedy club, with all comics. We all kind of get on because we've all got the same goals and we're all doing the same thing, so we get on well. It's the same. The same as that. Just getting together with some other people. Like I say, if you go on my website, you can email me directly through there, and I'll answer. I get loads of emails from people. Like I say, I also get emails from people that I've screwed over in the past. I do, but I try and I do my best.
I'm gonna put your address on the bottom here, Mike. You don't mind, do you?
I'm not perfect,
but it is you can't do it on your own. This stuff, it's impossible. That's basically what you're saying, isn't it? It's being with people that have got the same problem, same issues, and being around like-minded people. So I just want to thank you, Mike, really, for coming on, because this has been a fantastic chat, and I really do hope that it's passed a message to people that it can be done. And
it can be done. I can do it. Any old fool can do it. Let's be honest. I was in the right state. I really was, and I didn't even want to stop then. Do you know what I mean? Even when I was that close to being dead, I still was thinking, "I've got another couple of years."
Horrific.
The thing for me is stand-up comedy, because I tried for a long time when hence the photocopier stuff. When I got clean, I tried to fit into the world of like 9 to 5 and wearing a suit and going to work and all that sort of stuff, and I just felt like an alien. I couldn't do it. I just thought this, and after about 4 years of doing that, I just thought, this isn't what I got clean for. I haven't got clean to sit in an office or sell typewriters or whatever it was I was doing. And that's when I found comedy. And comedy's brilliant for addicts, because you don't have to fit in society. In fact, it's better if you don't. But it's good if you've got a kind of odd point of view, which I have. You don't have to get up in the morning. You kind of travel around on your own late at night. You live a sort of weird lifestyle. It ruins your relationships. You get huge highs and lows of adrenaline. It's just like taking drugs. But
without the consequences.
Exactly. And you get paid. Well,
yeah.
You used to anyway.
In the good old days. The good old days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am going to bring this to a close, Mike. So I just want to say thanks again for giving your time to us. And hopefully we'll be able to get you back. Fingers crossed.
What is this thing, SteamYard? Is it a live stream or?
Yeah, this is streamed to Facebook and then on YouTube.
Okay.
StreamYard is just a bit of streaming software
Okay.
that you can make it all fancy pants.
Yeah, I can see you've got my links up there. Lovely.
Yeah, I've got it. So I will say to everyone, please do go check out Mike. There's a lot of funny content with a serious message over on his Ko-fi / Mike Gunn. And if you look at his other links as well, you will be up quite late laughing loud. So I do highly recommend that. You had me throughout lockdown. I couldn't wait for your next one to come up, Mike. It's been fantastic.
As soon as I get a new, I'll do another one.
Do another one.
Yeah.
Do another one. Fix your phone.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, we need some money. You've got the link. Right.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this does bring us to the end of another Straight Talk. Please do have a look at what Mike's up to. Have a look at what Sober is Fun is up to. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. So from myself, Martin at Sober is Fun, and from Mr. Gunn, thank you very much for joining us, Mike. I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Thanks a lot, Mike.
I'll come and do your gig when it's up and running.
I will. Take care, Mike.
See ya. Bye.